We can start with your questions, please.
What was the call for the play on that last year?
It's called home run. It's the one thing that we practiced, but he threw it to the wrong guy. He's supposed to throw it to the center, and we're going to split off of it because we needed a 3, but we threw it to the wrong guy. We crazy to me, crazy.
Coach, you think some of this is like jet lag, just being tired from being on the road?
No. It's just playing bad. Can't make a shot, can't guard, can't win one-on-ones. They play through us. Remember I said this against Vanderbilt? Boy, I thought they played through us. Remember I used the analogy of a fight, more punches. Who do you think threw more punches tonight? Most of them. I think they did. Now, when you go 2 for 20, guys, and one of them was banked in, your margin for error obviously is going to be very, very thin. It's remarkable that we were in the game. We went 4 for 25 against NC State. Again, math's not great, but that's 6 for 45. You go 4 for 25 against NC State, you're going to get beat by 25 like we did. You go 2 for 20 here and banked in 1. We made 2 in the last 2 or 3 minutes to kind of give us some hope. So it's going to put pressure on the other parts of your game, and our inability to finish through and our inability to stop them when we needed to. Missed assignments. You know, they've got one kid that was really shooting the 3, ends up Micah Simpson, number 2, he ends up making 6, and we let him free for a couple big ones in the second half as we were trying to push back.
You guys had that, I guess, midway through the second half, built like a 6-8 point lead. Kind of were playing well at that point. Kind of what, do you remember that point?
Oh, yeah.
What went wrong after that?
Missed layups. I can remember. Again, I don't want to call these kids out. Of course, I don't know why we don't do that anymore. Are we not going to change that now that we're paying them? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, are we not going to change that? Somebody needs to think about that. Everything else has changed. We're not going to name names anymore. I mean, you couldn't do that forever. So now we're not going to do it. Something to think about. I won't set the precedent, but yeah, we had 8 points left at the rim, man. And you had a chance to really, get some separation. We made some defensive stops, and we were able to get out in transition because we could not score in the half court. And Tony's smart. He got in that 2-3 zone, and when you're shooting it the way that we're shooting it, it's smart. So they just tightened that thing up, tightened it up, and then even in the open floor, we couldn't get loose and struggle to score.
It was a career night, obviously, French anniversary. He scored 25, but what is it going to take for him to maybe replicate what he does offensively, defensively, and the same with the rest of the guys?
Yeah, he's a talented kid. That's why we believed in him. You know, he didn't have a real body of work prior to getting here. We believed in him. He's a talented kid. His talent shows. He's now, and maybe unfairly to him, maybe he's not ready for it yet, but he's been thrust into a position of leadership where he needs to deliver in a consistent level and make sure that we're connected and throw it to the right guy at the end of the play, things like that, in order for our team to have a chance to be successful.
Do you think your team took this matchup as seriously as it needed to heading into it?
I don't know. I've got a good group. It's hard to – I don't sense anything different. I know that we weren't pleased with the NC State loss because not that we got beat, but the way in which we got beat. And so I think, we talked about protecting home floor. I had given the history of Alabama State and UAB, and obviously they're from just down the road, and they're going to come in here guns a-blazing, and we let them get off to a great start. We fought. We were fortunate to only be down 1 at the half. And then we started the second half slowly. To your point, Steve, we then made a little run, got up 6 with the ball. I can tell you exactly who it was, exactly where it was. And we blew a layup. It should have been 8. Then we try to make a cross-court pass, and they pick 6. Next thing you know, 6. Now you're down 2. Now you're down 3. And you're just battling when you just can't seem to knock down a big one. They made bigger shots than us. They made bigger plays than us. Congratulations to them.
How do you figure out shooting from 3? I mean, obviously with this game, NC State hasn't gone how you want it. So
Yeah.
how do you figure it out?
We just got to continue to get in the work, get in the reps. We've changed a lot of the things that we've done, just try to simulate as much game stuff as possible. And we're not a great shooting team. I've really been disappointed, but you can't be 6 for 45. You're not gonna have a chance to win.
Whenever Kyron was in the game, it seemed like good things were happening. And, does that just kind of lack from his, come from his maturity and the experience he has?
I thought he made some shots tonight. I thought that was really the big difference. He played with confidence. I thought he finished a couple, and when he's making that face up, and again, the zone, he found a soft spot. We had 14 points and 5 rebounds, and I think that certainly he's capable of it. I think he's capable of more on the glass. Evan Chapman has been honestly our best defensive rebounder, and he was brought here to be a stretch 4, but his inability to, we just can't shoot it in the basket. So the floor gets really, really tight. And until you expand it with the ability to stretch behind the 3, that's what you're going to see.
Was the decision to take Kyron out of the starting lineup kind of almost to challenge him to play like this?
Yeah, and I didn't think he played very well against NC State, and I didn't like our front court rotation. So we were just trying to change it. And Evan, even counting the exhibition games, he's our best defensive rebounder. He's doing the things that we thought that he would from an effort standpoint. We just need the ball to go in the basket. I felt like, there's some tension in the air. We've tried everything, just try to get the guys to relax and make shots, and we've really, really struggled in that department.
Speaking of rebounds, Daniel gets his 500th career, and he has, I think, 8 for y'all tonight. Just what do you see from him tonight, and then maybe moving forward as well?
I thought, he gives us some physical presence in there. 3 for 9 for a guy that shoots it, 4 feet and in. We've got to be able to finish. I think it says that, doesn't it? Yeah, we've got to be able to finish at a more efficient rate at that range.
What was Jacob Myers' struggles tonight? What did he struggle with?
I don't know. I thought he came out really bad. He was turning the ball over. He got beat on a couple of back cuts. We had a couple of defensive mishaps. First half, he had 3 turnovers. He ends up with 4. Ends up going 2 for 8. He just looked out of sync the whole game.
How much pressure is that? You're challenged to score anyway. When you have a guy who's one of your top scorers, how much extra pressure is that put on you guys?
Well, the one game that we've won to this point, we had very consistent play out of our starting backcourt, Ahmad, Jacob, and Chance. We haven't had that since, and we haven't won since.
With a short turnaround, how do you prepare the guys for the next one?
They keep coming, so we've got to learn from this, and we've got to immediately move forward to a High Point team. And I know when you say that, people sometimes think coffee, High Point coffee. Isn't it a coffee? But they've got a tremendous program. I was blown away. Last year in the scheduling thing that we do, we're always trying to find people that are like us, that maybe challenged would get games, but numerically that makes a lot of sense. And so we went up there. It's the first time I'd ever been to their campus, first time I'd ever been in their gym. I was just blown away with the commitment that they've obviously made to try to be good in basketball. And they are good in basketball. Last year they go to the NCAA tournament and they battled somebody. Was it Michigan in the first round? I can't remember. I think it was Michigan. But they battled somebody to a really close game. Then their coach left, and now he's the coach in waiting at Creighton. And the assistant got the job, and they've had to retool like we all have. But I've been really impressed with what I've seen. I watched them when they played Furman just because we weren't playing that night. It'll be a real challenge for us.
Is it similar to the way that Alabama State players were kind of different?
It's different. They're a little more skilled, oriented in the front court. No, not trying to say that disparaging. I thought Alabama State just attacked us. So High Point's a good basketball team. We'll have to play well.
You think James Westry can continue? 25 points tonight. You think he can continue being a leader on this team?
I hope so. We need some leadership. We're searching. We're searching. We need. I'm learning, just like everybody's learning, game in and game out, as to who we can trust, what are the best combinations, what can we do schematically. And then at the end of the day, we've got to make the plays that the game provides. I thought the game provided plays tonight for us to win the game. We didn't make the plays. Thanks.